Okay, here we go. Basically, I'm just gonna try and do a tutorial video here of getting up into orbit. So, firstly, we've got a ship on the launch pad here, should I say? And we're gonna go up. Basically, engage SAS with the T key, left shift, take the thrust all the way up. Left control reduces thrust. So, back to full thrust. Press a space bar, and that'll engage our first three engines, which will get us underway nicely. It's always a bonus when you hit that spacebar and your ship goes upwards instead of starts falling down. So we're going to keep burning here. What I've noticed is, I think the light blue of our atmosphere bar at the top there below our meter counter is about 12,000 meters. Once we get to about 12,000 meters, resistance is going to be becoming less because the atmosphere is going to be getting less. So we will then gain speed quicker. So come on, little ship, up you go faster. But as you can see, we are gaining speed quite quickly here. So I'm going to save fuel a little bit by easing back on the thruster, again with the left control. Now I'm going to go back, but not so that we start losing velocity. I'm going to try and keep it roughly level. It should save us a little bit of fuel on the way up. So we're getting pretty close now to 12,000 meters. So we'll just let that burn at half thrust. I'm going to let that keep running and go over orbiting, I suppose. Basically, just go straight up. Some people like to jump to the map and try and chuck a waypoint together to help give a blue marker to follow. But we're not going to do that. We're just going to keep following our little forward marker, the green one, on the reticule there. And it'll all make sense, hopefully, in a minute. It is a good game. I do enjoy playing it. Right, as they've burnt it out, so I'm going to press spacebar, disengage those. Our other engine engaged because we had that in our sequence list to come on when the other fuel tank's disengaged. Now our little green marker there, which is our forward direction, has moved to the right. So we're going to slightly move to the right as well. Let's just keep following that. I mean, we are going quite fast now, just hit 700 meters per second, so I'm going to reduce the thrust even further. I'm going to take it down to about a quarter. And it should start going back up in a minute. There we go. So right, we're just going to have a little check on the map, and our thing is telling us that we're going to be hitting 95,000 meters in a minute, so we can also control the ship from this orbital map area. Now I'm just going to turn it all the way to the right, following the line here, just on the 90. Now what that's going to do is that's going to start stretching our orbit sideways, because basically we've just turned our ship on its side. Jump back, show you that. So we're now zooming along. We know we're going to hit space because our thing is telling us that basically we're 106 and still climbing. And space is at 70,000, so we're well up there. So we'll just jump back to the ship, and if I hold down the left shift, we get the thrust straight up there, and that'll start pushing us out sideways faster. As you can see now, our little blue orbital line is starting to pull itself across. And usually I like to try and get it to about halfway around the planet, and then we'll worry about getting up to this AP point, which is what they call the Kerbal apophysis. Okay, we're out of fuel. Jump back to the map quickly, hit spacebar, dump that engine. We just get our little last engine and fuel tank on the go. Okay, let's make sure that we're on the sideways mark. If you don't want to go up any higher, you can come down into the brown a little bit here. Just keep stretching this a little bit more. Okay, I'm pretty good with that there. So I'm going to hit the X key, and that cuts the engine straight out, which is a pretty handy thing to have. And I'm just going to fast forward this a little bit till we get up to the AP point. Okay, now we're coming up to our AP. Just going to make sure that we're following our little green marker here. We'll get in the middle of that and we'll re-engage our thrust now. Again, left shift all the way up, and now this is the best point now to drag out the other side of your orbit. You see it's coming out quite quickly. And we're past it a little bit. If we want to sort of bring it back to us, just angle the ship up a little bit, then back down. But as you can see, hit the X key again now. They've just spun round, so they're almost, well, no, they're not equal, but well, we might as well have a look at making them equal. I mean, this one's at 124,000, and that one's at 137. So I'm just going to fast forward this round to the other side. Fast forward keys, those are basically comma and full stop. We'll hit the comma now, slow ourselves back down again. Find it easier to use the keys. It's quicker than clicking up in the top left here on the warp arrows. So then we go with the full stop again, take us around a little bit quicker. So when we get to the AP point again, we're going to do a little burn, and we're not going to gauge full thrusters this time. I suppose another little thing I better go over is we've got a different green marker here and there. It's like a circular one with a cross in it with little green arrows coming off. A bit like a predator target here. That's our reverse direction. Now if we want to reduce our orbit, then we'll burn on the reverse, but we just want to grow it a little bit more. So we spin round to our forward direction. So we're hitting the AP now in just under 10 seconds. So I'll start doing a little burn there. We'll bring it up and you can see the other side coming out. Then we hit X again. And we've got a pretty even orbit there, 137,000 meters to 139. And that's it basically. We're up, we're in orbit. We've got our little ship and our little Kerbal up, all happy, no explosions, so it went well. You can do a little EVA here by clicking on the little Kerbin's picture. You can get outside, you can do EVA reports, that'll get you little science if you're playing in career mode. All science is good in career mode because it makes the game more fun and a bit more challenging. So I don't need that, but we press the F key and we can board back in our ship. And basically, if you just wanted to know how to get into orbit, that is it. Just going to show you how to get down actually. So again, we've got our marker here. This one here is our forward as we've been over. So we're just going to straighten that up, turn ourselves around, and this is our reverse marker. Now all we need to do is basically engage thrusters on a reverse marker. That's going to reduce our orbit, and we're going to start falling back to curving. So here we go. Kerbin's going to grab us with its gravity, so I'm just going to stop burning now. We've got a fair bit of fuel left, but we don't need that anymore, so we're just gonna ditch that with the spacebar. Now, I don't think there's heat damage in the game as of yet. Well, I haven't exploded coming in, and I've come in quite fast on a few of my returns to Kerbin. But it's always good to keep your vessel pointed in the reverse direction, because obviously I suppose that's where your heat shield is, and you want to not burn up on re-entry. So we're quite high up here, 134,000 meters. I'm just going to fast forward time with the full stop key till it takes us down to basically, I think when we hit 70, yeah, that'll take out the warp. And we are now back within the atmosphere, so you can fast forward at this point, but that's sort of fast forwarding within the actual game gravity mode, and you put stresses and strains on your ship, which can make you blow up or fall apart. But we've just got a little command module here, and for the video's sake, we're just going to speed up as we come down. As you can see, if I try and like move my ship in fast forward mode, it is greatly exaggerated. So yeah, we're burning through on re-entry. That is slowing our speed down quite substantially now. And then all we've got to do is hope that your parachute works. Now I usually leave it coming down now until we get to about 2,000 meters in height. But obviously around Kerbin you've got mountains and other areas that are higher, so you just want to keep an eye out, make sure you don't get too close to the ground before opening your parachutes. And again, just keep following your reverse direction marker. I mean, on this center point here is where we're going to be ending up, so we just point downwards. Let's see, speed is slowly decreasing. I assume there's a point where you, if you engage your parachutes when you're going too fast, they just rip off the vessel. I have had that happen, usually when fast forwarding, and it can cause you a bad day. But we're really low to the ground now, so I'll just disengage that parachute. I think we get to roughly about 500 meters from the ground, it fully engages. As you can see in the bottom left, our parachute is green there, so we're pretty safe to fast forward ourselves down to the ground. And there we go, that's basically getting up into orbit and bringing yourself back down safely. Slow the warp down just before we hit the water, and we'll have splashdown. Then all you've got to do is basically come up to the top here above your altitude meter, and you've got a recover vessel option, and we'll cover our little vessel on our Kerbal. Any science you've sort of picked up on your mission, you'll get back to your base now. And obviously I don't get much because I've done a little bit so far. And that's it. Once you've got your science points, you just jump in your science place and you can spend them on different stuff. I'd advise going down the technology tree of science first, because the more science stuff you can get, the more science points you're going to get when you go on your missions, sort of thing. But hopefully that video's been of help to people, and I might try and make some more tutorials in the future.